History in Motion is proudly brought to you by Midas Sport and its associate sponsors. Welcome to Kyalami for the final round of the Midas Historic Tour. Today's show is full of action from the Marque Cars, Formula Fords, Pre-84 Sports and GTs, and the 3-hour endurance race. But before we get to all the action, Chris Clark takes us on a lap of the track in a stunning Morgan 4.4.
Here we go for a lap of Kyalami with my Morgan 4.4. Across the start-finish line, pull fourth, keep to the left. Still flat out, nice late apex, keep it on the side. Look for another apex, let it float out. Still in fourth. Hug the right-hand side, change the third, accelerate. Straight line, change the second, look for the apex, let it float to the right. Keep going, let it float over to the left-hand side of the track for the next corner. Pull fourth. Hug the left-hand side. Turn in late. Let it float out. Use all the road. Okay, right to the outside. Straight line. Keep it in a straight line. Brake down to second. Turn in, find the apex. Float to the outside. Coming up to the S's. Third, turn in left, apex, straighten the wheel, turn in right, keep the car balanced, let it go out to the outside, up the hill, kiss the apex on the right hand side, keep going straight, brake in a straight line, down to second, look for the apex on the inside, let it float out, try and get a second apex, straighten the car out, hug the right hand side, flat again. Then we look for the piece of concrete on the inside. That's your apex. Here we are. Try and keep over as far as possible. Brake. Turn in for the apex. Second gear corner. Pull third. This is a blind corner coming up. You have to turn in before you can see the corner. Flat out. Straight. Float to the right. Turn in for an early apex. Let it float out. Pull third. Pull fourth. Over the line.
The competitors in the Sabela Marque Cars category are preparing themselves for the final 2 heats of the season. It's been a fantastic year for the class, which has attracted a few new faces as well.
One day I was sitting there in the pews and I asked myself the question, why am I looking and not racing? And I just walked down to the pits, started talking to some guys, and they got me into racing. It was actually quite easy. You don't race with the car that you want to race, you race with the car you have. So I had this, so I prepped it and I started racing, enjoying every minute of it. This is a 81 Nissan 300 ZX, the first of the Z cars that came out after the 240. Beautiful car. It's not that powerful, it's a touring car, so it's a little bit heavy for this type of work. But like I say, you race with what you got and you make the best of it.
The spectators are on the pit wall as the competitors line up for Heat 1. Nick van Wyk will be the first off the line in his Mercedes-Benz. Starting 58 seconds behind Nick is George Dallas in the 68 Alfa Romeo Berliner, and looking down the start order, Yorick Smith in 7th in the 68 MGB GT, 1 minute 42 seconds start time, and right behind him, only 8 seconds behind, is Martin van der Merwe, also in a 68 MGB GT. The flag's dropped and Nick van Wyk accelerates away from the line, eager to put as much distance between himself and the next car in this handicap race. On board now with Bert van Al in his Ford Capri and the little yellow Mini of Steven Neofit, who comes up to pass him. Neofitu started 3 seconds behind Van Aal and will be hunting down the cars ahead. The Cheese for Africa Mini leads the Capri up to turn 3. The next car for Neofitu to catch is the yellow Alfa Romeo Berlina of Georgia Dallis, who started 18 seconds ahead of Van Aal. On board with Kobus Brits, who started right at the back of the grid, he makes his way past the yellow duo on his way up to Westbank. Brits started 4 minutes 24 seconds behind Van Wyk and will have a lot of work to do as he carves his way to the front of the pack. Kuala de Klerk in his Nissan 300 ZX slips past Nick Van Wyk's Mercedes, having made up the 1 minute 40-second deficit from the start. Behind them, the blue MGB GT of Martin van der Merwe has found a way past Van Aal. On board the Ford Capri as we watch the Nissan disappear into the horizon. The chase will be on, though, to find a way past Van Wyk. Coming up to turn 4, and Martin van der Merwe slips his MG down the inside and cruises past. Van Aal will look to follow his line through, but will have to wait for the back straight. The Capri puts the power down and takes the position. Coming out of turn 13 and down the hill to the final bend, and Colin Keane has lined up Bert Van Aal as he sets himself up to take the inside line. Round they go side by side onto the start-finish straight, and the Mercedes powers ahead. Up into Westbank, the blue Ford Escort of Johan Pretorius leads the yellow Capri of Van Aal, who has the BP Porsche of Kobus Brits sliding down the inside line and moving up a position. On board the Porsche 911R of Brits, who now lines up Pretorius as they head down the mine shaft. The superior power of the Porsche is no match for the Escort, and Brits makes his move as they come into the bowl. Coming into the final bend, it is Neofitu ahead of de Klerk, followed by Colin Keane and Martin van der Merwe. On board with Brits now as he makes his way into turn 13, powering down the hill to the final bend. Ahead of him is championship leader Paul Manigault, who is making his way onto the start-finish straight. Just 3 points separated Paul Manigault and Kobus Brits coming into this race, taking the championship down to the wire. Taking maximum points in Heat 1 was Colin Keane, as both Neofitu and de Klerk broke out. Confirmation of the results, and it was Martin van der Merwe who came home in second place. Paul Manigault took third with Kobus Brits in fourth. In the championship, this moves Manigault 4 points ahead of Brits. For Brits to win the championship, he would have to finish first, with Manigault finishing fifth or lower.
It's hard work, but we've done it. It's hot and a little bit slippery out there, but the car did very well. We built it about 4 years ago. It's taken time. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to get all the suspension right, get the handling and the power to weight ratio going. And it's lots of fun, yeah.
The final Sabela Marque car race for the season gets underway as we see Georgia Dallis and Yorick Smith making their way into the race. The big news in race 2, Kobus Brits has not lined up to take the start. He's not feeling well. This means any chance he had of winning the championship is now over. It looks like we have an early retirement as Les McLeod brings the Ford Cortina into the pit after just 1 lap. Paul Manigault leads the battle of Steve Koenig and Roger Houston through turn 3. Houston is pushing hard and he sets himself up for the inside line going into 4. This must mean Koenig has gone wide and the position is Houston's. Up into Westbank and it's Georgia Dallis and Yorick Smith in a great battle. Smith is not quite close enough yet, but he's not giving up. Nose to tail they exit Westbank and head down the mine shaft. Howard now in the green and yellow Marque Cars is right behind him. Stephen Neofitu leads Paul Manigault. Behind them, Roger Houston leads Steve Koenig. Into the S's and the blue MGB loses the back under braking and Houston spins round and across the track. Very lucky there for Koenig to escape no contact as the MGB came sliding across the track. Looking at the replay, you can see just how close the MGs came to touching. Coming off the start-finish straight, Stuart Grant leads Colin Keane, and it's a battle of the Mercedes-Benzes. And these two drivers like nothing more of that. Out of 2 and heading up to 3, the pair are nose to tail. Keane will be pushing hard, wanting to catch Grant and repeat his win from race 1. Round 4 they go, and you can really see how much these big cars lean into the corners. Behind them, Georgia Dallis and Yorick Smith are still nose to tail. Smith just can't seem to find a way past the Berlina. Coming into turn 13, and whoa! Kuala de Klerk runs wide and is off into the kitty litter. He keeps the pedal down though and makes his way back onto the track. He will slot in just behind Colin Keane. Stephen Koenig is right on his tail and will be looking for a way past as they head down to the start-finish straight. 1 lap later, and Martin van der Merwe has his mirrors full of the yellow and red Alfa of Paul Manigault as they head into the final bend. Colin Keane is right on Manigault's bumper as they head onto the start-finish straight. Manigault moves left and makes the pass on van der Merwe. Keane follows him through. Stuart Grant, meanwhile, seems to have made a break ahead of the pair. Quilla de Klerk has recovered sufficiently from his off and is holding Steve Koenig at bay. Colin Keane moves to the inside of Paul Manigault and has a look at the pass. Manigault fights back and puts the power down as they head into turn 4. He has the outside line and this plays into Keane's hands as he tries to take advantage. Manigault keeps the power down and stays ahead for now. Taking the checkered flag, it's Howard now in the Marcos. A great race from him, but perhaps a little too enthusiastic as he has broken out. The next car over the line and taking victory is the Mercedes-Benz of Stuart Grant. Coming through to take second place is Colin Keane, just 0.6 of a second ahead of George Dallas in third. Confirmation of the results, and Yorick Smith comes home in fourth. Paul Manigault managed 5th place, and that's enough for him to take the 2014 Sabela Marque Cars Championship. It has been a great season in the Marque Cars. Let's hear from our winners.
It was really good. I had a good clean run. I managed to get ahead of Colin, and then the traffic wasn't too bad, so it was really good. I think these guys were all going for the championship, so I was pretty free to just go and have a jaw, and it was brilliant.
I was keeping an eye on Kobus Brits because we were first and second in the championship. There was a couple of points in it, so it sort of went down to the wire, the last race meeting of the year. Unfortunately, I got sick. It was very, very bad timing. It's not a nice way to win, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
It was tough, but the guys were going well and tried my best.
More great action on the Midas Historic Tour after the break.